Yo, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Damontae bringing you a banger. Don't forget to go follow on my Twitch, please. Here you will never miss out on daily payday content. As a disclaimer, this is a brand new microphone, so if things sound a little bit different, it's because it is a different microphone. Crook DMR build, and the abilities look like this. Your first card is Subtle, which is giving you a 15% dodge naturally inside the build, which is followed by Basic Composure, which is giving the player a 5% dodge increase to Ballistic Vest, and is also giving you a 20% armor increase to Ballistic Vest, so that you're 15% dodge on a suit, and then now you're getting an extra 5% on the Ballistic Vest. Next we have Advanced Composure. This is giving you a 10% increase to dodge onside your Ballistic Vest, and then it is also giving you a 20% armor increase to these already existing Ballistic Vest. Expert Composure, which is giving you an increase of 10% to your dodge already existing, and then it's giving you another armor increase by 25% to already existing Ballistic Vest. This leaves us left over inside of a heavy Ballistic Vest, 115.5 armor, followed by a 25% dodge inside of the heavy Ballistic Vest. The last card to follow is Mastery Recovery, which this is going to be giving you a 10% to your passive armor regen, so essentially you're going to be able to armor gate with passive regen. Crook inside this setup here will be yielding the DMR for mostly my ranged combat. Now my DMR is mostly a one-shot kill, so this build will really focus on the damage output. The analogy behind the build is this: if I'm able to deal a big enough yield of damage before the enemies can even deal a shot of any form of damage to me, that's how I'm going to survive easier inside the build. Since when making this build, I relied on the one-shot capabilities of the DMR to clear the enemies out in a fast manner, that's what I'm going to be relying on mostly inside the build to, as a whole. We do have an SMG that does get whipped out in close quarters combat. That P90 or Copus 90, whatever you want to actually refer to it as, is a very hard-hitting SMG, especially pairing it with Zerk. It definitely has the capabilities of mowing down a whole crowd of enemies. This build doesn't have a specific range value that it wants to be playing from, but with that being said, it is a dodge build, so therefore keeping your distance will be the best way of trying to survive inside of this build. If you're playing from long to medium range so that your DMR hits full damage, even though it will still hit full damage at close range, it's more meant for the longer range, so if you're playing from that distance, that's really going to benefit you in that DMR. Because you have to take in consideration things like you being targeted, target prioritization, cops reaction timer, cops grace period timer. There's a huge list of things that go into this situation here. And here's something that should be noted: this build does have 2-shot armor, so therefore it's working with armor value. It also has an armor regen, so therefore you're over here working with armor gate as well. And then lastly, this build does bring dodge to the table, so you have 3 major ways of surviving inside the build, just as a base value of the build. Now your dodge statistic isn't really the most strong, but it's something that will still happen. And if the player is not fully relying just on their dodge value, you can actually survive insane amounts of time, and you'll be able to beat the whole mission without any issues. Because really, this build is mixing together armor value paired with armor gating, paired with dodge value, paired with DPS output. And then when you mix all these things together, you get a very, very strong build. It just isn't seen as, in quotations, meta, because something like Anarchist will hold your hand much easier than something like Crook. Here's another thing that I feel is worth a mention. Crook is essentially playing like the ICTB Armorer mixed with something like the Rogue as an example. Now, what do I mean by that? The build itself has 2-shot armor, and if you were to compare 280 armor versus 175, both of them being 25% frenzy, if the armor got shot by a light unit 2 times, he'd be left with 176 armor. 176 armor is roughly the amount that the Crook is yielding, so in that situation, they're near identical after the armorer has taken 2 shots of the light unit. And then on the flip side here, the Rogue's abilities is all mostly just dodge, right? And then you have the Crook bringing in some pretty high dodge values, but it's only mostly inside the light ballistic vest. Now if you're using these dodge values inside the heavy ballistic vest, you can still get anywhere from a 31 to a 45 area of dodge, which is a quite strong value of dodge considering that you have 2-shot armor. Now, this build originally had a 100 damage assault rifle, and it was either being the AK-17 or the AMR-16. Yes, the damage value of 100 per shot is still able to, one-shot kill heavy units. I was mostly using the DMR in situations like of dozers or more of the special units, so I don't have to expend as many shots. And now the other thing with the DMR kit is that you get such a huge damage output, is that it would just make the most sense to be pairing Zerk with that. Since once again, these damage values on the DMRs kinda require a Zerk to give you a one-shot capability, the same as the semi-automatic snipers. Because I'm sure everybody has tried the Contractor, the Grom, the Lassenberger, and they've used it without Zerk, and they're just like, man, this sucks. Because you have to like 2-shot kill everything. And if you just bring Zerk, then it becomes a one-shot killing machine. Let's get into the skills for the build that we have. We started off by grabbing Stable Shot for the stability, and then we also follow it with the increase to our zoom. We grab Die Hard Aced and Iron Man for the 2-shot heavy ballistic armor, and then we grab Shock and Awe Aced for staggering the shields. Lastly, follow with Bullseye for another form of armor regen. Inside Technician here, we grab more stability and hipfire accuracy. Since I do a lot of hip firing, that kinda customs to my play. Here inside Ghost, we grab the Sprinting Dodge, we also grab Run and Reload, we pair that with the Concealment Ballistic Vest skill, and then we grab Sneaky Bastard. We do follow that with full crits, Optical Illusion, Suppressor, Accuracy, Stability skills, and we go for High Value Target. Then it is lastly followed up with Bloodthirst for killing things with melee, Berserk for the high damage, and Frenzy for 2-shot armor. Let me show you the guns and the modifications that I have. We go with the DMR kit because it gives me increase to my damage and increase to my accuracy. Then it is followed up by the bigger the better suppressor for stability and accuracy increase. The boost we grab is a concealment boost because it is a concealment build. Then we follow it up with the Emo foregrip because the Emo foregrip is giving us the statistical advantage that we want. Then, keeping in mind our concealment, we grab ourselves the compact laser module so we don't have any effects. Then it is followed by the titanium skeletal grip for the concealment, accuracy, and stability increases. This one is debatable, but I went for the fast mag because the fast mag is just fitting to the build. Now, on a second note, you could be using a smaller magazine for more concealment. I personally go for the Seymour sight just because I personally like that scope. Now, you could be using any of them that only -1 concealment. We put the skeletal stock on for concealment value. You can swap around a lot of these stocks, but you just need to be mindful of the concealment value that you reach. We lastly followed up with the L&W receiver because we was wanting to get that accuracy and stability stack up. We start the Copus 90 off with the Ninja Maul suppressor because that one is pretty decent in concealment value.
Pretty sure someone has a sniper.
On this gun is a special 2 concealment increase, so we went for the 2 concealment increase. We follow it with the compact laser so we have no statistical advantage or loss. This is completely optional, it gives no statistical advantage, it just makes it look cool. Then lastly, we follow it up with a fast mag because who doesn't like to reload faster?
Oh! Dude, that was a lot of cops. Oh. That was a lot of cops.
In this section here, I'm showing you guys how to Zerk inside of a heavy ballistic vest, Frenzied Crook. If I had counted correctly, it should be 15 burns.
I spawned into like every cop on the map. Lasted for like 10 hours, it felt like the shootout or whatever. It was crazy. It just, I don't even know really what happened, honestly. I just remember like holding like a triangle. Like, that was it. That's all I remember really. And it was just so intense. I don't know why though. It means I need to go play Siege and hold a triangle.